What a world. What a world. Welcome to a new brand new show. Video podcast edition. As you already know, this video will be available on my YouTube channel, Brand New Show. YouTube channel, JANEAU show. Just did a podcast episode that is coming out. Once I get the notification that it is here, it's out. I will be dropping, the notification that is available on podcast platforms. I should be getting by the end of this video. Also, social media. Brand new show, JANEAU. You catch up on my interviews I've done on Instagram Live. 3 interviews I've done on Instagram Live. So go catch up on them on my Instagram. JANEAU show. I also got a TikTok and I got a Facebook page. So go catch up on that. Of course, like I said, YouTube channel, Brian Janu show, JANEAU show. So subscribe to that as well. Leave comments and everything. So, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. And let's start this off, man. Like I said, hope you guys had a great weekend. So I'm gonna kick this off this week with I've been doing. I do this series called Music That Have Impacted My Life and Taught Me Lessons. And for the last 3 videos I've done for music, I've been talking about my top 5 albums of the decade. These are albums that I genuinely, love of this decade, 2011 to 2021. And it doesn't have to be an album. It could be a mixtape. It could just be a project that I deemed very important to me as a person, like to my personal growth, my mental well-being, my physical, emotional, spiritual growth, all of that. So I've done 3 videos. Like I said, the first video was on Rick Ross, Mastermind album, one of my favorite Rick Ross albums. That was like peak Ross. The second video was on Ed Sheeran's Multiply, one of my favorite Ed Sheeran projects. I can't wait for his next project to drop soon. Hopefully he drops it very soon, so I go see him back on tour. I gotta go see Ed Sheeran one more time. And last week's project was about J. Cole. 2014 Forest Hills Drops. It was like the album that I think finally people were like, I think it was the album that people finally was like, okay, J. Cole does belong in the conversation with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. So, that's one of my favorite albums from J. Cole. Just the lessons it taught. It was the first project where he didn't have collaborations. It was just him fully, and that was a dope project. So I talked about that last week. So today, who I'm gonna talk about, posted on social media yesterday. If you on my social media, you know who I'm about to talk about. But if not, the album that's coming, the artist that the album's coming from is Drake, Six God, OVO, OVO Honcho, Drizzy, like Jimmy Brooks. There's so many names we could go with, but Drake, that's the artist. Now, the album was not so easy. I knew I was gonna do it on Drake, but I didn't know what album I was gonna do it on, because he got like 2 albums of this decade that I could easily go with. And Thank Me Later and So Far Gone are both out, because So Far Gone came out in 2009. Thank Me Later came out in 2010. And I love If You're Reading This Is Too Late. I could have easily put that as this, but I think If You're Reading This Too Late, to me, is very good. It's a very dope project, but I think because it is so mixtape heavy, it kind of does feel like more of a mixtape. And same thing with More Life. It's a playlist. He's even said that. But If You're Reading This Is Too Late, could have easily been in this. Easily. you know. But if you're reading this, it's too late. I didn't take it as such a, I didn't take it super, like I said, for me, like I said, it's about my physical, personal, mental, all that. Like, I didn't take If You Read This, It's Too Late like that. Views was the first the first album that I went to go see Drake do a show with. Like, I went to the Summer 16 tour in my hometown, New Orleans, with my brother. We went, saw Drake and Future, and the dudes killed it that night. That shit was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was my first ever concert I've ever been to. It was pretty dope. And so I have a different type of respect and love for Views, the album Views. Then the second time I went to go see Drake was Scorpion, the Scorpion album. Aubrey and Amigo, the Three Amigos tour was very incredible too, and I got a chance to see it here. So in Houston, so I went to the Toyota Center with my brother again, and we went and we saw the Migos and Drake, and I've seen like the Migos like damn near now 2 or 3 times now. I've probably seen them the most out of everybody I've ever seen. You know, I've seen Drake and I've seen J. Cole twice. I've seen the Migos on Migos and Drake and Future and them all the same. I've seen Future twice, seen him on the Drake tour, then I saw his tour, saw Migos on Future's tour, and then I seen him on Drake tour. I've seen J. Cole twice. Yeah, okay. I'm going to see J. Cole this year. I've decided to not do the 2 tickets. I'm just going to give me a ticket, and I'm going to go by my goddamn self. Anyway, this is completely sidetracking. But anyway, I love the music. But it's 2 albums that we could easily talk about from Drake that I know people will automatically know from the moment I speak of them. Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. Now, Take Care came out in 2011. September, I think it was, of 2011. So it just made the date of doing this. Well, we could have easily moved it to 2012, but anyway. But Take Care is so easy to give that, to put in my top 5 of albums of the decade. So easy. My problem with people with it talks about Take Care is like they love it, but then it's like, but The Weeknd wrote that. The Weeknd wrote Take Care. It's like, I love The Weeknd. I'm going to see The Weeknd in February for the After Hours tour. Weeknd's one of my favorite artists, but he did not write Take Care. Like, y'all can stop that shit. Yeah, so you telling me The Weeknd came up with Underground Kings? So you telling me The Weeknd came up with Hell Yeah Fucking Right? So you telling me The Weeknd came up with Make Me Proud with Drake and Nicki? So you telling me The Weeknd came up with the idea to do an interlude called Buried Alive? And oh yeah, go get this rapper from Compton. His name is Kendrick Lamar. He's gonna come out in the next year, and just do kill everything. So The Weeknd did that. So you telling me The Weeknd did all of that? Okay. The Weeknd called. It was like, yo, you need to go get Kendrick Lamar and put him on an interlude called Buried Alive. That'll work. Like, y'all need to stop that shit. Y'all give Drake the compliment, then it's like a backhanded compliment. Is the craziest shit. The Weeknd did exactly what he was supposed to do on that project. Crew Love is one of the best songs ever. Like, I want to see them perform. I want them to be together to perform that song. It wouldn't be right if Drake performed it one time or The Weeknd performed it one time. Like, that song is meant for those 2 men. Like, those 2 dudes need to do that song one time. Hopefully The Weeknd brings Drake out here in Houston. That'll be, I wouldn't mind that at all, personally. And they perform that song, and then they perform The Zone. And also Live For. Why not? Just perform all 3 of y'all songs together. Just do it. For me. And of course his vocals on The Ride. Bruh, come on, man. Like, The Weeknd on the ride. If you know the ride on Take Care, it is probably one of my favorite Drake songs on an album that I've ever heard. The ride is just such a different type of level of greatness. Like it's just and he's just talking about how the industry has changed since he's became successful. And those are those type of songs that I like from artists, in particular the Drakes, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamar's, the Big Sean's, the Meek. Like I like those types of songs because it's kind of like them still giving to their core fans that really fucked with them from the trenches. Like we still fuck with you, so I'm gonna tell you how it is being successful now. Still the same bullshit. It's like, yeah, you get to kick it with these. He was like, when Drake says, I blew $6 million on myself, but I feel amazing. Like it's like yeah, still some taxes and shit. I still evaded, but like, man, I blew $6 million on myself. That shit felt amazing. Like it felt really good to do that. It is crazy. So The Weeknd did a great job on Take Care. He did his part, but Take Care as a body of work is still one of Drake's best projects. I think out of all of the albums that he's put out, Take Care is probably the one album that you could still go back and listen to and remember the time you were in when you first heard that album. Take Care is one of those albums. And I have a lot of love and respect for Take Care. Helped me out a lot when I was 2011. I was, I want to say, a junior in high school. So yeah, that was my junior year. So yeah, it's a lot. Got me through a lot of art classes. Yeah, I took art my junior year. I was asleep a lot because it was like 7th period. Who the fuck takes art in 7th period? Like, who the fuck does that? But I was asleep in that class. I never drew a picture. And if I did, it was like some girl that already had the picture already done. She was just like, look, you can have this. I already drew another picture. Like, oh, thank you. And I passed that class. I don't know how, but I passed that class because I was asleep. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was sleeping in that class a lot. Right. But the album I'm talking about today is sorry, Mom, if you don't. Yeah, but that was 10 years ago. But anyway, the album I'm talking about is Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same is probably the most reason why I went with Nothing Was the Same. One, is not super long. It's the most concise project Drake's ever done. Doesn't have all these fucking songs and interludes and, it's the best flowing project that I think he's put together. The reason why is because, if you know Nothing Was the Same, it starts off with Tuscan Leather. That's probably one of his best interludes, I would say, ever. I think it's the best interlude. I don't say interlude. It's intro. His best intro. His best intro ever. If you listen to all of his albums from So Far Gone, Lust for Life, but that's cool. But Fireworks off of Thank Me Later, Over My Dead Body off of Take Care, Legend from If You're Reading This Too Late. I don't really count Digital Dash because that's him at Future, but I guess if you want to count Digital Dash, okay, cool. Free Smoke, Keep the Family Close off of Views. Free Smoke was off of More Life, and Survival off of Scorpion. So out of all of those, I think Tuscan Leather is the one that everybody remembers the most because it's his most rap heavy intro. Because he's telling you actually in the song, he's like, how much time is this boy gonna be spending on this intro? And he just continues to rap, and there's just something about that a lot of people, that love when Drake raps. That's a very important intro for us, that loves that rapping, and so he's a beast at that. So he kind of showed everybody like, I can really do this shit. Stop playing with me. Then it goes into furthest thing, which is very like, it's a cool song, man. It's not super like it's actually really like smooth. It's just smooth. At the end, then the fucking beat switches and then he starts just rapping, going in. And of course, it goes into started from the bottom. We just let's start from the bottom. Come on, I remember when that song actually came out. That shit was like, I remember as I was waiting for that song. I was waiting for something to come out, and I remember he just dropped it. I think it was like a night. It was like fucking like, it was cold outside. I remember it was like February or some shit, and he just dropped it, and I was like, and you know how real it is when he just leaves the fucking producer's tag in the fucking it's fucking tag in the fucking song. Like, that was pretty dope. Then it goes into Wu-Tang Forever, which is a dope song. I wish he would have actually dropped a remix. I don't know if he actually really did get the whole Wu-Tang Clan on that remix. That would have been dope. And I haven't really never listened to the A$AP Rocky remix of that song. I'll talk about A$AP Rocky another time. But then it goes into Own It, which is kind of like him. I don't know. It's kind of like a playful song, but it's really not. It's kind of like him kind of throwing shots at motherfuckers. Like, niggas talk more than bitches these days. It's like, but it's kind of true. Like, it's kind of true, because now I look at what we live in now with this era. So, I mean, kind of foreshadowing shit. Then it goes into Worst Behavior. I've been to 2 shows where he's performed that fucking song. That shit goes nuts. So it's a different type of level. You know, who's hot, who's not. Tell me who rock, who shut down the shores. on some old bad boy, more money, more problems type ever. So it was pretty cool. You know, and then it goes into I think it goes into For the Time, or it goes into Hold On, We're Going Home. I think it's For the Time. From Time. I keep saying For the Time. It's From Time, with him and Jhené Aiko. That song is one of my favorite songs off the project. Like, it's such a great song. Like, you can tell he had a lot of shit I'll get off his chest on that, and I respect that. Then it goes into Hold On, We're Going Home. We could clearly get into that, but why bother? Then it goes to Connect. Connect is such a hard song, man. Like, that was, I remember, I hate to say this, but I remember when the album leaked online. Like, it leaked on YouTube. And I remember listening to that song, like, the hardest. Like, From Time and then Connect. Those are the 2 songs I was listening to the most when they leaked on YouTube, like, a couple weeks before it dropped or some shit. And Connect was just so hard. And then when I finally heard the real version on the album, it was like, okay, this is different. I was like, okay, this is different. You know, swinging. I want to see him perform that actually once. I gotta see him perform that. Then it goes into the language. And people can say whatever they want to say. He was throwing shots at Kendrick Lamar on that fucking song. Like, he was throwing shots at Kendrick on that fucking song. I gotta kill all the weak shit that got you niggas all excited. Like, who told you it was the shit? Like, who told you this? Like he was just in his bag on that. And then it goes into 305 To My City. It's kind of funny because now him, like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, about that, but that's a cool song. It's pretty dope. It's actually a good song. I haven't heard it in a minute. I listen to the album, but I always kind of like skip it. But it's actually a really good song. Like, I don't know why I skip it. Don't ask me a question about that. But it's actually a really good song. When I first heard it, it was always like, maybe because I don't really fuck with detail like that. Maybe that's why. Because his voice kind of like fucks up the song a little bit. But either way, that's just me. I think he should have put Party on that. That's just me personally. Because I know Party was signed to him at that time. Because him and Party had a song maybe like a couple months after that came out over here. So I know Party was signed to OVO at that time. You should have put Party on that. That's just me personally. You already had Magic Jordan on Hold On, We're Going Home. You should have put Party on, 305 To My City. But maybe because people didn't know him at the time yet. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. Um, then it goes into too much. Too much is I don't know how to explain too much. If you really listen to So Far Gone, is a song going there. It's a lot of songs that's personal on that song, but So Far Gone, there's a song called The Calm. And on The Calm, he's just, talking about family problems. And that's one of my favorite songs he's ever done. Same as Too Much. Now, I like when him and Sampras get together. Is, me personally, I thought The Motion was a better song, but, he put The Motion on the Care Package project they just did, so I'm cool with that. But I understand why Too Much is why he put too much on here. He took too much more than he did. He put too much on here over The Motion. Because Too Much felt like a real, like, the first time you heard Drake kind of song. It felt like, him explaining, his family problems. Even at the height of his career, him talking about, his mom saying she was too sick to go do shit. That's not true shit. Or his uncle, saying, he got all the problems on his bucket list. Like, nah, fuck that shit, man. You gotta do that. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you have no excuse not to go do what you want to do with your life. That's crazy. Too Much is a very, personal song, and those are the songs I really vibe more to and go towards because it reminds me of when I first heard that artist. And so Too Much was a very important song for me on that album. And then it goes into, of course, Pound Cake with him and Jay-Z. And Jay was just in his bag. Jay was just talking that shit. Talk about how he made millions for everybody. And it was like, and then he got to like, because at the time, if you didn't know, him and Beanie Sigel were beefing. And, and he was like, Beanie would tell you if he wasn't in his feelings. It's like, damn, Jay, you had to throw a shot at that man on his album. Like, goddamn, bro. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He was like, and Jay was just in his bag. And Drake, and that's the best, I think everybody could agree, that's the best Jay-Z Drake collaboration they've ever done. So that's pretty easy to say that's the best collaboration they've done. I like Talk Up on Scorpion, but that's the best one. Jay and Drake kind of vibe perfectly on that song together. Pound Cake, and then Come Through. And then of course it closes out with All Me. I remember when All Me first came out, when he had the picture of like the fucking headshot of when he was like, I think auditioning for like Degrassi or some shit. It's like, I remember when All Me first came out and I was listening to it and I was like, and I was super excited because it was Drake and Big Sean. And I'm like, I thought them niggas had beef because they didn't work together at that time. And then Drake, I guess, reached out to him and finally got him on a song. And, and him and 2 Chainz always had, that relationship because of Wayne. So, but to hear Big Sean and Drake together, that was like a big moment for me because I loved, at that time, my favorite thing was I was in rotation at the time. My favorite album at the time, or mixtape at the time, was Detroit. And Big Sean's Detroit was so iconic, and I thought it was an amazing project. I love Detroit too, but Detroit is like that fucking mixtape. Like, to me, is in the top 5 mixtapes of a decade. Like, dude was killing shit on that project, on Detroit mixtape. If you never heard Detroit mixtape, go listen to it. But to hit them two finally on the song, and then Big Sean, shut the fuck up. I got way too much. Like, it's just like, damn. So, like, when Dave Chappelle puts that in a fucking comedy special, like, you did something right. But Nothing Was the Same, I think, is the most consistent project because it's actually the best project. And we'll see what CLB sounds like. I hope it's not that many tracks. I hope it's like Nothing Was the Same. We will see. But those are the album. That's the album, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Peace.